Anyways, the point is, until Bitcoin tops, the cycle's not over. It's all based upon Bitcoin. So let's take a look here. Bitcoin versus Nvidia. We use this chart as confluence to see whenever Bitcoin tops out. So Nvidia is typically the leader in equity markets. It's been the leader. It's been the alpha asset. So whenever Nvidia starts to underperform against Bitcoin, this chart will pump, okay? So as this chart pumps, Bitcoin is outperforming Nvidia, and you see when we get these massive blow-off tops on this Bitcoin-Nvidia pair, this calls perfectly the tops on Bitcoin cycles. So let me show you guys how that works. So let's put Bitcoin underneath, right? I want this pair right here. Okay. So we get Bitcoin underneath. Bomba clot.
It always puts it like this.
Yes, bruv. I just had it. Oh my goodness. Hold on. Okay, thank you. So now, can I open this up? No, that's the RSI. Guys, today,
You just gotta add the paint again.
yeah, this is incredible. What a day to show off for Chai Tat. Chai Tat. This is not typical performance here. Chai Tat, don't base the quality of our.
Is he watching?
I think Chai Tat's here. Chai Tat, you still here? Put it in the chat. You subscribe to us live on stream. I need to know if you're watching this.
Yeah, let's at least find out if he's here.
Yeah, let's at least know if we're actually putting on a show for Chai Tat. All right. So here's the chart for Bitcoin. All right. So Bitcoin over the last few cycles, this Nvidia and Bitcoin pair has called tops perfectly. Okay. So let's just take a look at this. So last cycle, we had the top in 2017 right here. Well, would you look at that? On the Nvidia Bitcoin pair, we had this top. Okay. So Bitcoin greatly outperforms Nvidia. We get this top on Bitcoin. Fantastic. 2019, we get this local top on Bitcoin. Guess what happens? Oh, what a surprise. Bitcoin Nvidia pair gets a blow off top. Next blow off top on Bitcoin Nvidia calls the local top on Bitcoin in 2021, right? The first top in March. Okay, next one. Boom. Calls this local top. Okay. So what have we done ever since then? Well, in between, Bitcoin greatly gets outperformed by Nvidia. So then Nvidia starts to go on a ripper again because equity markets, the way that markets work, they typically lid risk assets. So the alphas are the least volatile, most invested in assets. Once companies like Nvidia, which are the premier stocks in the stock market, start to top out, there's no more upside in the eyes of investors. Okay. There's no more upside in the eyes of investors. What they start to do is they rotate capital further along the risk curve. So they start coming down that risk curve. So you see Nvidia's gains start to wane. And as they start rotating down into things like IWM and into things like Bitcoin and Ethereum, you start to see Bitcoin and Ethereum outperform things like Nvidia. That's how you know you're getting towards the end of a cycle because people are moving further along down the risk curve. So what do we look at here? Well, clearly, we have not had any resemblance of a blow-off top on this Bitcoin Nvidia pair for this cycle. So right now, Bitcoin's in price discovery. We've been ranging up in here between 92 and 100 and about $506,000. People are worried about, oh, are we topped on Bitcoin? Is it over? Are we still going to get an alt season, etc.? Well, I mean, I don't know if this looks like a blow-off top to any of you guys, but it doesn't look like it to me. So at no point has Bitcoin at all this cycle outperformed Nvidia. Not at all. Nothing. It's just been perpetual downtrend for the past 4 years. So again, this is an indicator that we use that not everybody actually watches that says, well, we're still waiting for this blow off top. I mean, we've had it very clearly in every cycle on a top on Bitcoin, right? So why would we not see another one in this portion of the cycle? Well, yeah, we will. So equities are still performing nicely and they're still moving up right now. Bitcoin or crypto is just lagging equity markets. So this gives me confidence. Okay, well, if equities aren't done ripping yet, Nvidia is not done outperforming yet, that's fine. The time for crypto is coming. We just need to make sure we're positioned for it because whenever Bitcoin does start to see this parabolic move on this BTC Nvidia pair, then we can start to say, okay, BTC is probably topping out. And then typically about a month after BTC tops out and starts distributing, that's whenever you see alt season. Because when Bitcoin's distributing for the next 5 to 6 weeks, that's when altcoins are benefiting from all that liquidity flowing into the altcoins, because you're seeing people take profits out of Bitcoin into altcoins. That's when you get your alt season, and that's what we're waiting for. So any thoughts on that, Bees?
Well, something I think is going to be good to look at. I'm be kind of curious to see what you think of it. If you want to, if you want to do it on a new tab, just so you can kind of compare this. But if you can put the Bitcoin dominance chart on the top, and then the ETH BTC pair on the bottom.
Got you. So let me just do this. Okay, so on top you want Bitcoin dominance?
Yeah, Bitcoin dominance on the top.
Okay.
And then on the bottom, the ETH BTC pair.
Okay. ETH BTC, is it giving it to me?
There she is.
There we go. Okay.
I don't know why it makes it lines by default every time.
Goofy.
So I was looking at this. I know we talked about we looked at the Bitcoin dominance chart last week, I believe. So I was looking at it over the weekend, and I was looking back in like March of 2021. You can see, or maybe it was a little bit earlier than that. It may have been even been like December. That blow off top on the Bitcoin dominance.
Over here?
Yeah, the first time that it happened, though, before it just absolutely jumped off a cliff back in like 2020, 2021.
Okay, right here.
When was that? So it was December 2020.
Yep.
So I was looking at that wick up at the top there, just kind of comparing it to what we're seeing right now. And it just looks very, very similar.
I see what you're saying.
To me. Because I mean, the timing is fairly close. I mean, that was in the very end of December, beginning of January of last cycle. Now, we're a couple months further ahead, but I also think there's been obviously some catalysts that weren't involved last cycle, like with Trump getting inaugurated, and then all of the uncertainty moving into the inauguration, and then with him getting into office. I think it's just been a little bit different. Like there's been way more focus on crypto and a lot more people paying attention to what Trump's saying versus before. Like the president-elect, I mean, no one gave a fuck what Biden had to say about anything, but especially not with crypto. So I don't think it was really playing as much of a part. Well, it definitely wasn't playing as much of a part in the cycle performance.
Right.
But to me, that looked very, very similar. I'm surprised, honestly. I know we had that little kind of mini alt season back in like November, December of 2024, and Bitcoin dominance was starting to bleed, but then it recovered. And to me, it looks like it may this week refill a little bit of that wick. But personally, I don't think that, especially with the timing, I mean, we're almost perfectly into alt season. Like this is the time we've been wanting everything to happen. I don't think that we're going to see Bitcoin dominance move much further above, if it even does move back above that wick. And then on the ETH BTC chart, we're kind of getting the opposite move to the downside. Yeah, I mean, you've already drawn it out. So back at that same time, we had kind of this bottoming wick on the ETH BTC pair, which, I mean, this shit's been bleeding for so long. And yeah, I mean, we talked about it
perfectly.
Yeah. So we're seeing on these two charts almost the exact same thing that we saw last cycle.
Yes.
So I know that you were just comparing the Bitcoin Nvidia chart, which, I mean, I do think that we're still going to need Bitcoin to continue to perform strongly, but I think we're definitely going to need a lot of that liquidity and that money to flow downstream into Ethereum, into altcoins. And these two charts are telling me that that's going to happen.
Right.
I know we were talked about it a little bit over or off stream, but we were talking about the catch up trade that's going to be coming and the repricing that's going to be coming for Ethereum. Because the last time that Ethereum was at this price, Bitcoin was at, we talked about it, I think about 50,000.
Half the price. Yep.
Yeah, so it's like Bitcoin's $100,000 now when Ethereum's the same price that it was back when Bitcoin was 50,000. It's like, did Ethereum really become 50% less valuable as an asset relative to Bitcoin in 3 months? Probably 3, 4 months. Probably not. Definitely not. So the repricing is going to come. These charts are telling me that it's going to come very soon,
Mm-hmm.
in my opinion. And yeah, I just wanted to kind of get your thoughts on this and, or at least, make you aware of it. Cause I was looking, I was like, yeah, this.
I didn't see that. That's a great observation because you're right. It looks the same. So you get this. So basically, what Logan's talking about. So we drew it out right here. Right before you get alt season, there's two indicators for alt season, which is what we're essentially positioning for. There's ETH BTC pair, which is on the bottom, which is whenever Ethereum starts to outperform Bitcoin, meaning that Ethereum and Ethereum beta is a better hold than Bitcoin. This is essentially an alt season indicator. Same thing with Bitcoin market cap dominance. So as Bitcoin starts to lose percentage market share on the entire crypto asset class, that means altcoins are gaining more market cap in comparison to Bitcoin, meaning that alt season. Alts are outperforming Bitcoin. So these are two indicators. So these are essentially inverse charts because if Bitcoin's losing market cap dominance, well, that means things like Ethereum and other altcoins must be gaining shares, which means they're outperforming. So they're essentially inverse charts.